So guys, previous stream we did this, and it looks a little bit ridiculous to me. So I will give myself a little feedback. So the eyes could be a little bit more up. The nose in this way will be a little bit maybe longer. I mean downwards. Okay, the head, this part of the head could be smaller and more narrower. The jaw maybe shouldn't be that wide. Could be a little bit less wide. Or narrower, we may say, even. Less wide, narrower. English lessons with Nico. But Nico, why don't you make a little English lessons for us? So, as you see, it became a bit better. I'm watching a guy here who is an absolutely English guy, and he's making wrecked cars, like restoring them, and it's very, very cool. He is English, of course. He is from United Kingdom, and he is saying better. He's not saying better. He's saying better. Without the, he's just losing some of the stuff, and it sounds very cool. By the way, I like it. I like how it sounds, and I wish I can speak like that, but I'm not that good with English lessons or language. Yeah, language. Okay, so I just, did some stuff and tried to fix some stuff. It's not exactly perfect. It shouldn't be probably perfect, but I'm just a kind of guy. I will just add a bit of a meat in this area, which always look good. And also I think that my mouth is a bit too small. Maybe I can make it bigger and better. Bigger and better is always the best. So this planes of the head exercise was cool. It was not the best result ever, but it's kind of cool. Let me cut here, because this is, the sternocleidomastoid is starting in this area, and then here down it's meeting, and it's kind of interacting with the trapezius muscle. And if you're a great sculptor, which I'm not completely great, I am just good enough, we may say, but if you are great, you will be able to do amazing job like who? Like Lubomir Grigorov, which is a Bulgarian sculptor, and you can see how he did it, like the sternocleidomastoid and the trapezius meet here. This is a traditional sculpture, and he's just nailing it. I just love how he's sculpting. We will get to that. Maybe we can make something like a studying this type of sculpture. Conor McGregor. Oh, it will be difficult because without the beard it will not look exactly like him, or it will look like him but in his much younger years. I don't know. Ears or ears? I mean ears like younger ears, or ears? Yes. What? I don't know. I can push this a bit outward, because in 3/4 view usually I don't want to see the cheekbones that much. What I mean by that is we usually don't want to have a huge here bump and huge bump in here. Even in most of the time we will have a very slight bump in here, then a little bit, and then slight bump in here, and then we will go like this, and then here we will see the muzzle of the mouth. But this depends on the angle we are looking at this. But now I am kind of happy with the result. He is also happy, as we can see. Our model is pretty happy. He's smiling, so we can continue with our next exercise, which will be this from Seong Kim, this planes of the head exercise. So, as I said, working from different sources is your best choice. Never use just one source. For example, yeah, it's me. I will be your only source. Yes, it's cool to have only Nico as a... No, I'm joking. You always have to doubt, or just to not take what I say absolutely as complete true. You have to take it as a true, but then check it out if it's really this way. Because there are times that even very good artists, they can tell you something, but this is their understanding, and maybe their understanding is from a time that they were younger and it was not exactly the best understanding ever. So these things happen. So planes of the head 01 will be this one, and I will hide it. And then we'll go to object mode and add a sphere. Then go to sculpt mode, add our symmetry and start doing it again. Now, again, as always, we will start with what? Moving the front part down and making, and the back part also down because we need the neck. We will squeeze it so it's kind of a straight on the sides, and also we have to try to make it narrower in the front. Also here in the front of the, the forehead, it has to be narrower than the back of the head, but yeah. And we will continue by making the trapezius and just basic beginning of making just the basic stuff. So this basic stuff, you may say, but why don't I make kind of a basic stuff head and then always starts from it? I would say it's not a good idea, because this usually, if you are fast, it takes around 2 to 3 minutes to make, and it's not a big deal. And also for me especially, I can say it judging by myself, I like it too much. I like this process of turning a sphere gradually into a face. Very, very, very rewarding and relaxing and cool and everything. That's why I will not give it up, most likely. Yeah, I'm always doing it from scratch. Of course, this doesn't mean that every artist out there is always doing it from scratch. On the opposite, people usually do it from, they have base meshes and they use them most of the time. Let's make the ears. Just masking, inverting the mask and making the ears. Again, I'm just kind of pushing them away from the face, from the head, and then continuing with our thing. You see how the base of the ear, where it touches the head, it's smaller than the other part of the ear. The ear is usually a little bit larger than that, which of course is absolutely normal and visible, but maybe some of you need a little bit of, just to tell you, and everything will be okay. Now, I just pressed something and we went to the top view. Okay. So if you if you press this button, which is above the tap button, and then you have front, back, right, and all the views here, escape and you will get away from this. This is very useful. I'll have to eat some skins in here. Doesn't matter. Now, I will make the muzzle of the mouth, but only in the bottom part I will cut it a lot. Here I'm not cutting it in the top because I want to have a nose at some point. Then I will just dig. Now it stinks where I cut the... Okay, I will cut the forehead from the rest of the face, and then I will make this kind of indentation above the eyebrow. And it looks very cool when you make this indentation above the eyebrow. You see the 3/4 view here, we have pretty nice result. Now I will push where the nose will be, the sides of the nose. push them, and then even with the grab brush, and then smooth here, I will pull them, and we will make something like this, nose, and going like this. And the nose, of course, I will try to achieve the form that we know. It's great, it's kind of a triangular shape, at least in the beginning. Then we will see. Now, we are watching the concept, we may say. This looks like a traditional sculpting, although I'm almost sure it's not. But yeah, because these days, who is doing the traditional sculpt and posting in ArtStation, for example? And I'm pretty sure that this is from ArtStation or a similar site, and most of those things are digital, we may say. And we will be right to say so. Okay, seem like a nice thing, so let's wrap it up a little bit. So we have the eyebrows like this. We have the line above them push a little bit. That's why here we have a little bit of indentation, and then the forehead, which is great. We have the forehead looking nice in this area. It's not pushed in, it's not super inflated, it's just kind of nice. Then we have this line in here, and we have this kind of a front plane of the cheekbone, which he also has in here. You see, he has made this kind of a front plane of the cheekbone. We will make it as his, which will be cool. Then, by the way, on his head we have this, which is a front plane, and it's usually is not exactly this kind of, but we will see. And this is the side plane here. This is the chewing muscle here, which is around this area. We will make it here, and it will be great. Now, we also have the muzzle of the mouth is kind of a this. This thing is the muzzle of the mouth. In this case, he has a little bit of interesting thing here going on, because the chin is pretty huge, but it's more heroic this way. So if you want to make a heroic person, this is your way. You see how the nose is like this, kind of increasing the size and then decreasing it. So two trapezius here and here, and then we have one kind of a inflated something here, like a cube. It will be here, and then the two trapezius we will do, and then one trapezius we will do, which now here it's not exactly well preserved, but it's supposed to be here, and then we have this inflations in here, and then we have our eyebrow lines and the temporal line. Temporal line is important landmark, so that's why we have to learn it. I'm not sure it's called temporal line. It should be called like that. Of course, if it's not, I'm sorry. And you see how the corners of the mouth are tugged below this portion here and this portion in here. Okay? Alright. Okay, let's continue with our model. We don't have too much detail yet because we don't have any, thing. But you see, now from the front view, you see the top of the head is a little bit squarish, which usually is not like this. We will just pull it down. And this is the better way to have something like a roof of a house roof. It looks a bit better, Now, I will just increase the resolution to 0.02, and for Dynamesh it should be around 100 or something, but you have to consider and have to see how it will be. It's not symmetrical, so I will symmetrize it. The symmetrize usually is here in the top, symmetrize. So then I will smooth it a bit, and when I finish the smoothing, we will continue with some landmarks. So, cheekbones. In this character, the cheekbones are pretty wide, and they will be around like this. Yeah, but remember, the cheekbones are a little bit wider than the eyebrow lines in here. They're not too wide. Don't make them ultra wide, like ultra wide lens on a camera. No, inflate here the top of the nose, and then make some nostrils. For the nostrils, never dig too deep in the top part in here. Never dig too deep there. Be very careful with the digging in this part. Then we will push this part of the nose and pull the middle part of the nose down. So you see, from the side view, it's not like this. From the side view, we have the nose fine, but the nostrils are going up. And then we will push a hole inside, and then I will inflate the nostril itself just to see if it will work for me. The inflation, I mean. Inflation, you know. It's always cool. Now, we will make this kind of a bumps on both sides of the top of the nose, around the eyebrows, on the eyebrows actually. They're part of the eyebrows, but yeah. And then this will go down as in the skull. If you remember, in the skull, the shape is very similar because, you know, the skin there is usually very thin. So this is the skull actually protruding. It's not completely protruding, but it's kind of there. Now, for the nostrils, what we can do, I'm zooming too much, so I'll press home to reset the zoom, and now we are much better. Better. Now I will make sure that this between the cheekbones and the muzzle of the mouth here is kind of full. These are some fat pads going on there, and we will make them and smooth them, and then we will flatten them on top, because, you know, planes of the face we have to make. And they will continue like this, and here what I will make is a very manly chin, as in the concept. See, we were looking from the concept and we are making this ultra manly chin. Of course, we will see with the mouth and everything how manly this chin will be, but it will be kind of manly. So yeah, prepare for the manliness. It will be cool. Now this, you see, we have planes here. We have the temporal line, which comes from, let's see, around the corner of the eyebrow. And then after that we have this plane, and then we have the frontal plane, which is not exactly a plane though, but let's say it's a plane. And we have it on the concept. If you don't see it, it's here. This is a plane and this is a side plane. We can just make this work. Of course, don't overdo it. Most of the time it will not be that visible, but it will be there and we will see it. Not ultra visible. Now, for this part here, I will inflate and I will push also the ears in. I'm just pushing the cheekbone out and pulling the ears in. Of course, the cheekbone shouldn't be ultra out, because it will be bad. And here in the bottom, I like to make this chewing muscle. Mostly in the bottom, it will be visible, because on the top here, there are certain things that are making it not so. So, most of the time, this will be like this, like a triangular shape. Not a rectangular like looks. It looks like a rectangular there, but it shouldn't be exactly rectangular. Also, we will push this and pull, and then push above. And you see, without a mouth even, now we have a pretty good thing going on. Even without a mouth. I think it's pretty cool. What do you say? Yes. You say, Nico, it's pretty cool. Now the ears, how to do the ears? Of course, again, the question mark shape of the ear, remember that. And we will push here, and then we will do what? Some people have a lot of big bottom part here, where the earring goes. This kind of a meaty part, where the earring goes. Some people has it big, some people has it not so big. This inner Y part here, because you know the ear is, the question is why. But Nico, how is that? So let me show you again, of course. The question is why, because this is a Y shape, and here we have this kind of a thing most of the time. And this question is going kind of inside this hole in here. And we should try to make it this way. Because as I said, ears are important. And you will see in the feedback section that many people are neglecting the ears. Because they are kind of difficult to make. And people don't think that they are the vital part of the face, but they are. Try to make something without ears and you will see. It's not gonna look good. It's not gonna look human, it will look alien-like. Because humans usually, most of the time, have ears. And that's important. Pretty important. Now I will push them up, because we don't want the ears to lie very, very low. We want them to start where the nose starts. Around this line where the nose starts. And I will push them closer to the face. I don't want them to be ultra huge, those ears. But yeah. Now, let's see what's happening with our jaw. And of course, don't try to be as fast as me. That's not a good idea. You saw it in the previous video that fast is not always good. And it's usually fast means the quality is going down. In my case, I can make a decent quality. I will flatten this with fast food. With fastness, I can kind of make a decent quality, but it's still, if I'm a little bit slower, a little bit more careful, I can make it better, but I don't want to lose your time. And in my opinion, in the beginning, you have to just try slower. Now, let's make the mouth. How? Just push and then, you know, make the M part. So how to make the M part? Just with G, I will push this up. And now we have it. Of course, I will push it with the down standard or the down standard or the draw sharp brush. The down standard is in ZBrush. Draw sharp is here in Blender. But the idea here is that you don't want your lips to go too much outward. A little bit outward will be fine. But many people are making them too much outward and they look like this, like a duck lips. So that's a no-no. Now, here on the side, I will add meat, more meat, and do it like this. And it now looks a bit better. Now I will increase my mouth size just by grabbing it with the grab brush. And I did the first mistake of the beginner. My nostrils are not in the position they should be. So I will push them inward. And this should be a bit longer, the distance between the nose and the upper lip. It shouldn't be super short, although it could be short, and then the guy will look even stronger when his mouth is more up and he has a big chin. Then he will look stronger and more, you know, more like a Russian guy from CRA or ЦРУ. ЦРУ is the name of the Russian, think like FBI, you know. Or CIA, no, CIA is also American, I think. But I don't know how it's in English. ЦРУ. Whatever. KGB, yeah. KGB is the agency. Now it's FSB, I think, and I'm not sure. Federational, Agency of Safety. Федеральная служба безопасности. Да, FSB. FSB. Federation Agency of Safety. Федеральная служба безопасности, or Федеральная. I'm not sure how it's pronounced exactly in Russian, since I'm not exactly Russian. I'm not Russian at all. But I know some. And I'm kind of close to Russia, so I know things. By the way, Russian people and Bulgarian people and Serbian people and Romanian people even have very similar fate after before and after the Soviet Union collapsed. Ukrainian people too, of course. Similar things happened. Just a crash and a very big crisis in the 90s. It was like we barely have food on the table in the 90s. It was in all the Soviet Union countries was kind of the same. Big inflation we had here in Bulgaria, like huge. I mean, not huge. There are bigger inflations now in the world, like Venezuela, for example. But we had a very big. And I'm not, what's happening? Okay. Hopefully, my OBS doesn't crash. OBS crashes sometimes. Okay, let's try to put up. Yeah, I guess that OBS will crash, and it crashed. So yeah, I have to read the signals, OBS crash sometimes. But it doesn't matter. But it doesn't matter. Now I think we were around the 30-something minute mark. So 10 more minutes and we will be finishing this. So the cheekbones are a very important part of this exact model. So we have to make this kind of a plane here for the cheekbones and plane above it. Let me try to draw it for you. You notice how I'm trying to speak more English, which probably is kind of funny, but I'm trying. You cannot get better. You cannot get better without trying. You have to try it. Otherwise, you will not get better. Now, increase the size of the chin is always a good thing for a huge male character and kind of a strong one like this one. Like this one. And this one seems like a strong guy. That's why we are doing it, for studying of the, this. So, from the side, you let me just emphasize this. So, the eyebrow, cheekbone, and the chewing muscle. And they are making one kind of a line. And you will see when we are drawing a guy like this, for example, like this, we are drawing him, eyebrows, nose, lips, the chin. Yeah, it's a little bit, grotesque, but you will see what I mean. And now, cheekbone, and this is the chewing muscle. Then we'll have this, and the eye will be here. The mouth will be here. And of course, he will be more like this. Because he's strong, he doesn't have this huge brain. He's mostly muscle, not so much brain. But you see, the cheekbone is here. And this is the front part of the cheekbone, and then this is the chewing muscle, and we can have this kind of a straight line here. It's you never have to be making it completely super straight line, because straight lines in the human anatomy are rare, and we have to be careful with them. They're even maybe not rare, but they are absent, complete straight lines. We have to be very aware of that and be careful. Now making these two traps that are connecting together, and I will make sure that the nose has a little bit of a bump in here, because this is where the skull is finishing and then the cartilage begin. And maybe those cheekbones will be a little bit not so pronounced, because they are super pronounced in the in our reference, but not sure it's a very good idea to pronounce them that much. Otherwise. Okay. And then above the upper lip, we can push a bit. And you can see that's looking relatively great. Now for the eyes, let me just increase the resolution a bit more, but not super too much. Just don't do, especially in Blender, don't increase the resolution too much at once. Just gradually increase it with a little bit, and twice, for example, increase it twice, increase it twice. It will be much better this way. Also in ZBrush, because this way you will have more control. And you probably have seen people like very experienced artists make some models from very high resolution in the beginning, which in my opinion is wrong. I don't approve it, especially when showing to the more new people, because you are showing them wrong. You have to start, and I still always start from very low resolution and gradually going higher and higher. But I try, as you can see, to do everything possible in the lower resolution and then go higher. Not to go higher right away, because this is a huge mistake. Now, for the planes of the nose, let's try to achieve the planes of the nose a little bit. So, here on the back, we'll have this kind of a, let's say plane, but it will be backwards plane here, a little bit. Then we'll have kind of a bottom plane in here, which will be almost always flat. And we will have the top, which is not exactly flat, but it's kind of curved. And then here in the front, we'll have a few planes. So this plane, then this plane, and then the same plane, the same as this, but on the other side, here. And then in the middle, we might have a cut. A little cut, but we'll see. And then this will be one part of the cartilage, this will be the other part of the cartilage, and then this will come in between. And this is like this, and this is the trapezius plane that's coming. This one is kind of catching the light in here, and the nose usually goes inside like this. So it goes like this and goes a little bit. If you don't do it, if you just cut it here, it will not look the best. And always bear in mind that from this part of the nose up here to the corner of the eye, there is a distance always. So from this part here to the corner of the eye, there is a bit of a distance. Now this is the eye around this area here. Okay. And he will have this kind of Ray-Ban glasses. It's very easy to make glasses of people, and mustaches, of course. That's what I have done so many times in the newspapers, at home, and he looks very cool. Now, but we might continue. Now this, usually, this fat part in here, which is kind of going down, it's not exactly one fat pad. There's like two fat pads mostly, but we will see that probably in some of the other drawings. Now, here we'll have this bottom plane, this, and this in the middle. And when you kind of cut it in planes, the nose especially, it looks, yeah, a little bit more stylized, but it looks better, definitely. In the middle, we can cut it in the middle and add a bit of a meat in here. And of course, it's not like this in the concept, but it's more anatomical this way. And let's make our top lips, eyelids, not top lips. Top lips of the eye. Eye lips. Why they're not called eye lips? Because they are almost like lips, you know. Closing, opening, like lips. But they're called eyelids. Lids, not lips. Okay, either they should call this eye lips, or they should call the lips lids. You know? Now, the eyes of a male character usually are kind of slightly closed. They are not hugely opened, you know, because opened means like the character will look like this. We don't want that. We definitely don't want that. And I will even dig a bit here, and you see he's starting to look awkward. He's like, what are you doing? A little bit lazy guy, you know. A little bit like, what's happening here? So I didn't completely make it, but it's kind of okay. Maybe in the next video I'll fix this one too. Who knows? From the bottom view, of course, we always want to have the eye shape. I mean this kind of a half sphere shape of the eye. That's almost always the case. And yeah, the eyes probably could be a bit longer and go a little bit away from each other because the face seems too wide with those kind of very tiny eyes. But this is more manly. And if you put some shadows, for example, it will look almost nice. Of course, not completely like the concept, since our upper lip is not like the concept exactly, and stuff like this. If you want, of course, I recommend you do it exactly like the concept, but, of course, we can deviate a little bit if we want. I will just increase the cheekbones, lift them up a bit. I think they are more up in the concept. And we are good. You see, the overall look of this looks great. So, another exercise of head making, and I told you, don't try to make it that fast. I mean, I'm making it pretty fast, I know, and it doesn't have to be this way. Spend at least 4 hours, refine it as much as you can, make sure the main shapes are there. Refinement is not your thing. You don't have to do refinement, you have to do the main shapes. Everything else is not needed. Refinement is needed. Definitely needed. Alright. Alright. I think we are fine. Now, I will save it as 0.7 and stop it and go to the next one where we will do this, which is very, very important. This one is very important because you see this fat pattern here, you see this kind of a thing in here, you see this thing in here, and it's not, as you can see, every artist who is doing this kind of thing is imagining it a little bit differently. Especially here, for example, we don't have the chewing muscle exactly defined, but we have some other things, because this guy is not so manly, probably. He doesn't have this chewing muscle that much defined. But it will be very good exercise to make this, I think. And we will try it. Okay, see you then.